Greetings, fellow visitors. This is Upgrade Terminal, a Star of Providence fan cast. I'm Malachi.
And I'm Nick. Welcome back to the facility.
This will be the third episode to feature Garoslaw's intro that he made for us.
It's so good.
I love it.
I hope one day Garo releases it as like a standalone thing so people can just enjoy it just as a piece of music on its own, even completely devoid from the context of the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Something tells me that'll happen.
Someday, eventually.
Someday. Actually, one of the tracks on the soundtrack that Garo released is from the demo, the PAX demo, which was really
got
cool.
To play.
Yeah. So I was like really happy to see that song. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a neat little piece of history.
Yeah, it's a shame most people will never get to hear it in game.
Man, I still hope they release that in some form. It was so cool.
I hope so too.
It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and if they were able to like tweak it somehow so that we could, because it was basically racing, right? I mean, you could race someone playing through the demo, and it would be fun to kind of tweak it, have different bosses, and anyway, getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
Well, Nick, it's nice to be talking to you.
Mm-hmm. Likewise.
What's something good that happened to you this week?
Well, I wouldn't say it's something nice that happened to just me, but something nice that happened to a lot of people. And I wouldn't say that lately, the fan stuff channel in the Discord server, like where people just post mostly their fan art and their music, lately has been overflowing with amazing stuff, amazing art and amazing music from people. It has been just such a delight seeing not just passion and enthusiasm for like the art style of the game and their ideas, but like the talent and like the energy that people put into it. It's wonderful. It's inspiring. Makes one feel just a little bit jealous of like, oh man, why can't I make stuff that good?
Why can't I art?
Why can't I art as good as all of these people in the server who are doing it?
Yeah. Those who can art, those who can't podcast, right? Something like that.
I guess. I suppose we're here.
I jest.
I've just been thoroughly enjoying that, and it's been making me. It's one of those things that just kind of lifts my mood and makes me feel like, yeah, this is a positive thing. This is a positive force. I thoroughly enjoy it, and it's something that everyone gets to enjoy it, and I hope it keeps on coming. Like I don't want to put pressure on the artists out there, but like know that anything that they make and put on there is very much welcomed and appreciated, and I would be happy to see more of it.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to the fan artists.
Yep. All of them. They're very cool. And the fan musicians.
Yes. I completely agree, Nick. And I remember, I mean, way back when we did the first episode of this podcast, we were talking about, hey, we want to make a podcast so to have conversations about this game. And part of our plan was, hopefully we'll inspire or at least get in touch with more artists that want to take part in creating fan art and fan creations about the game.
And we managed to do that in the first episode of the season, episode 31, with Ian and Gia.
Yeah. Obviously, we're both super happy to see people creating things based around the game. It's awesome.
And hopefully we'll get to do more episodes like that in the future.
Yeah, I would love to talk to more fan artists. So if you're a fan artist listening to this,
we love you.
We love you. Also, call us. DM us.
Send us a message on Blue Sky on Discord.
Yeah.
Our operators are standing by. What about you, Malachi? What's something nice that happened to you this week?
Okay, I mentioned this before, but my office was burnt down 2 years ago now.
Oh, that's
Yeah. And so we had to move our office into a different place in town, obviously.
mm-hmm,
And where we settled, it was an office, and there was this old cafe next to it. It was kind of like an old dingy cafe. And
mm-hmm,
it was an okay place, but it was just kind of the kind of shop that you went there. It just felt just a kind of a rundown vibe.
hmm,
And it closed last year.
huh,
And after it closed, I was very hopeful that a new cafe would come to replace it. And that is indeed what happened. And it just opened this week.
and how's it look?
It looks really nice. It's got really nice tables. They completely redid the inside of the cafe. Just a totally new vibe, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm,
And so, of course, the first day I went over and I bought a cup of coffee and met the owner. It was a really
mm-hmm,
nice little place. And the next day, the landlord of this little business mall that my office is in came into our office and said, "Hey, we really hope that the new cafe is successful. We
mm-hmm.
tried their food, we tried their coffee. It's really good. We think it's a good thing for this area, and so we wanted to give you a gift card." And
Ooh.
they handed it to the front desk, and I was hearing all this from my office. I was
Mm-hmm,
like, What's going on?" And so when the landlady left, I went out there, and not only did she leave a gift card for the front desk, she left
mm-hmm.
a $50 gift card for everyone in the office,
Damn.
which is a super cool gesture. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool that they want the cafe to succeed, and so they basically invested a couple $1,000s. I'm guessing, because they didn't just do this to our office.
Hmm.
So it seemed like a really cool thing to do. So this entire week, every morning, I've been going to this brand new cafe and using my gift card to get a latte, and it's been very nice.
Wow, aren't you lucky?
I am. I feel very lucky. I feel very lucky. But I've also been sharing that like morning coffee with coworkers
Mm-hmm,
and friends, and that's been nice. So there's just kind of like a really exciting energy. Um, if you go into kind of a new business anywhere, it's like
mm-hmm,
this like hopeful energy, and
mm-hmm.
that's definitely been present in the cafe, and it's really contagious. So I've just enjoyed being in there for the past week.
Well, that's delightful. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah, it makes me want to open my cafe one day.
Uh,
Star of Providence themed.
if wouldn't quit your day job at the moment.
I'm gonna make Null D13 and Crawler latte art.
Do you know how to make latte art?
I'll learn. I will learn for the Star Prov Cafe. So today, Nick, I wanted to talk to you. Today it's just you and me,
Yep.
which is nice. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't done an episode just you and me in quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
We've been so busy talking to people about the release. But today I wanted to talk to you about the first week after Star of Providence released, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of our thoughts and what the experience has been like so far. It's now officially been out for 1 month.
A month and a day.
A month and a day, yes. So yeah, so the first question I had for you is, I mean, as a beta tester, you had been sitting on the secrets of this update for years at this point.
Well, okay, I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
Uh-huh.
So, some stuff had been in beta. It like had been released in the beta builds for years.
What's the oldest thing? Can you give an example? Like Gauntlet?
The trials were actually something that was implemented a long, long time ago,
Oh wow, okay.
like years ago.
Wow.
Like I remember playing old versions of like the trials, but they were the concept was always essentially the same.
Mm-hmm.
The gimmicks were the same for the most part. Like trial 2, like, oh, there's like these security systems that you're trying to not get hit by.
Mm-hmm.
Trial 3 is like this block pushing puzzle that was always there. The music was very new, like a couple of months, and like, my goodness, I love some of the trial music. It's so good, and I can tell you, literally, the first time I heard the Trial 3 music, I was like stunned. Like, what is this? Like, I was not expecting this. It's so nice, so delightful. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The trials had been in there in some form for years.
Mhm.
Some of the loop reworks had been in there for years also. Some of the new bosses I feel like had, yeah, some of the new loop bosses had also been there for quite some time.
Mhm.
The super special boss, that's actually relatively new. That was like just a couple of months, and
Oh,
like it was
wow.
getting tweaks and changes up until the week of release. It was constantly being iterated on very fast, which was both a good thing and a bad thing. I'll say it. The whole ARG with like the hidden web pages, that was a complete secret to everyone, as I've mentioned already.
Mhm.
And the secret that is in the tutorial,
Mhm.
that was also something that was not told to us. It was found on day one, and I
Yeah.
helped crack it like within half an hour of finding it. But like we did not know that was in there. It took until Ilker specifically
Yes.
notified us, "Hey, I found this thing, but I can't open it." And then I took a look at it, and then half an hour later, I was like, "Yep, broke into it."
So I saw Ilker's YouTube video
Hmm.
and I could not resist it. It said Star of Providence hidden tutorial lore dump, and I had not found this myself, and I was like, "There's no way I can't
Hmm.
watch this." So I watched it, and then in the notes I saw that Ilker said, "Thanks to Nick from the Star of
Yeah,
Providence Discord for helping me out with the code." I was
yeah,
like, "Oh, I
yeah,
know that guy."
yeah. I it was a guess, but it was a a, a bit of a hunch. That was just like I just had the feeling of like I think I know what it is.
Mhm.
I just this gut feeling, and it was right. So some stuff had been in there for years. Some stuff had been worked on for just a couple of months, and a few things were a surprise to me as much as anyone else. So
Hmm.
I don't know if, if you want something more from that, if there's like some question or some details you'd like.
I'm just curious to hear what the release has been like from your perspective, like finally seeing people experience some of these things that you had known about for so long and it had wanted people to hear and see and to share with people.
It's a lot. It's a lot to go through. I get, in some sense, it was a sense of like relief,
Mhm.
relief of like nobody has to wait anymore. It's here now. Everyone can enjoy it. Everyone can play it. You know, it's
Mhm.
no longer this thing that people just have to twiddle their thumbs about. Like, sure, the teasers up until this, there were teasers for like a good number of years, and then they died down for a while. Nothing was being told, and then in 2025, as it was like get approaching, was like, okay, the teasers are back in full force, getting
Mhm.
people excited, but like none of that is as important as like, can people play? Can people just have? Is it on their hands? Can they just play it?
Mhm.
And there was a sense of relief of like, finally, it's done. Obviously, it's not done. There were like many patches and fixes that need to come after, but like, it's now something that can be shared by everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody can play it, and everyone can enjoy it. So there's a sense of relief, a sense of joy, you know, and also a sense of like a sense of surprise in the sense that, so maybe this is an opinion that was colored by having played earlier beta versions where, you know, things are different. So there was the
Mhm.
impression like, oh, some of the new stuff that's definitely very, very end game.
Mhm.
We thought, how long would it take people to get there? And the answer
Mm.
was faster than we anticipated. The people got there really fast. I think part of it is also the fact that they were, with this release, they caught the attention of a lot of people who had a lot of experience in shmups, so their skill sets could translate over to this game because, you know, even if they weren't very familiar with like all of the roguelike elements of it, if
Mhm.
they're good at shooting and dodging, they're going to get far no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
So I think with that influx of new players who are very talented in this genre, a lot of the end game stuff was found and recorded and beaten in short order.
Yeah.
And when I say in short order, I mean within 48 or 72 hours. It was, we had videos up. Well, not we had found videos people had put up of the end game content. And it was both a sense of like surprise and also just kind of like, well, that felt a little anticlimactic. Like the devs spend months of just tweaking and perfecting it, and it's like all finished so quickly. It's like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yes, that is one part of it. I think there was also the aspect which is kind of irreplaceable and for which there is no substitute is like, okay, sure, we may have had a few people who come in and just like, I beat everything, put it up, and then just, I'm good.
Hmm.
But I think what can't sort of be replaced by anything else is like just the feeling of like, oh, the community is finding all of these things and they're so excited about it. They're talking about all of the new changes, all of the new things, all of the new discoveries, some of the new secrets that are there to be found. And it's
Hmm.
like I was like, yeah, this is what the devs wanted all along. And it kind of felt like, man, Pure must be proud that despite all of the bugs that were being submitted on like an hourly basis, like bug, like, and he has to be like told, we're like, okay, gotta fix everything.
Hmm.
He's still like seeing people like finding things and be like, ooh, they're spotting that. Oh, they found that. Ooh, they're onto something there. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's cool. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I think for every player that could get to the end content quickly, there
Mm-hmm.
have definitely been a lot of new players that are really struggling. And it's been
Mm-hmm.
nice to see them asking for help on the Team D13 Discord, on the Big Mode Discord, on YouTube, on Blue
Mm-hmm.
Sky. There's just been a lot of community, gathering and saying, hey, here's what you can do. And then, of course, we've had many opportunities to share your guide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like that's like it covers a specific but narrow slice of one's journey through the game. But I've been happy to just like be part of that process. Like I find someone asking a question on the channel, so I'm like, yeah, I'll answer that for you. I'll give you some information and tell you about it.
Yeah. No, that's been nice. And there are people, slowly making their way through it.
Mm-hmm.
So for as many people who have already reached the end, there's still a lot of people slowly working their way through it, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to
Mm-hmm.
be a part of.
Absolutely. And also because part of it is like, I think this is something that you relate to, Malachi, is like when there's a game that you love and you've played it through and you've seen everything. When you watch new people play it, it's kind of like you get to relive that moment of discovery, that elation.
Hmm.
And it's fun to what to see more and more people themselves going through those steps of like being delighted, being curious, sometimes being a little bit intimidated by what they're facing, and then feeling very proud when they can surpass that.
Yeah, yeah. I actually just saw tonight that Slow Beef, famous Star of Providence lover, has played the update and he uploaded a video on March 17th, I think. And I didn't know. I missed the stream. I just found the video. I'm really excited to watch it and see his take. I started watching it earlier this evening and I got to the point where he discovered the gauntlet. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's just so fun to watch people see that for the first time. I'm like, what am I supposed to do in this room with a Bane engine and targets? What's going on? Very fun. For me, the first week of release was I was racing to finish loop 13 because I
Hmm.
knew that there was something big at the end and I did not want to be spoiled on that. and I managed to escape being spoiled. I
Mm-hmm.
basically stayed off of YouTube. I was very
Good.
careful on the Discord,
Yep.
and I did get spoiled a little bit on the Trial 5 boss, sort of. I haven't watched videos, but I did end up seeing a couple like little pictures, so I have a rough idea of what that is. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like I mentioned, I saw the Ilker secret lore terminal video, but I was
Mm-hmm.
okay to be spoiled on that. When I finally beat Loop 13, it was pretty fun to jump back into the Discord and allow notifications and start to read through a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, like people discovering things for the first time and piecing things together. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
overall, it's been like a really really fun month of that.
Mm-hmm. And as much as I enjoy all that, I will admit that it is kind of like, you know, just like opening the floodgates and just getting washed away in like this wave of activity.
Hmm.
Now it's kind of calmed down a little bit, and like I like it's fun to have like a week of like, oh, everyone's going nuts, and then just like, okay, now let's calm back down, go back to more gentler levels of activity.
Yeah, it's it's funny because before the update dropped, we talked a lot about what was going to happen to the Discord. Like,
Hmm.
was it going to explode?
Kind of.
Were we going to get everybody from the big mode server coming over to our server? And it's definitely a lot more active now. Like you mentioned, fan art. There's a modding channel now. There's people
Hmm.
making music with PX Tone, and lots of questions and interactions.
Hmm.
Overall, though, it didn't explode in the way we thought it would. I think.
And
Um,
maybe that's a good thing, I
yeah, no,
think.
I think it's obviously not everyone playing it is there, but I was wondering how many people had joined since the update dropped. And Coolant today actually said there's a user named GP over on the System Erasure Discord that happened to record the server member count before the
Hmm.
update dropped. So from then it was like 1900 something, but from then until now we've had about 460 people join the Discord server,
Hmm.
and you can definitely feel it's a lot more active. But yeah, it's kind of a healthy increase. I think it's not overwhelming. We haven't had a lot of like weird, obnoxious users or anything. It's been really quite pleasant overall, and I
Hmm.
think that's lovely.
Yeah, I agree.
So I wanted to go over some Steam numbers.
Uh huh.
After the game dropped, I was actually before the game dropped, I was checking Steam database frequently because I liked to see when the game was updated. Like when
Hmm.
they were uploading new builds and stuff.
Was it reporting the updates to the beta builds at least?
So my assumption was it was because you could see like last record update. I don't know if that included the beta. Anyway, the numbers after it was released have been really interesting. So,
Hmm.
and I'm going to run through these for everybody's benefit. So the all-time peak 25 days ago,
Hmm.
1,222 players.
Very good.
Yes, for reference, before the release,
It must have been 130 something.
yes, it was 133.
Hmm.
133. And every time I saw that, it kind of blew my mind because I guess being in the Discord server, I'm like, I feel like I know more than 133 people that I've met online that played this game.
Yeah, but not all at the same time.
Exactly, yeah. And of course, that 133 players was back in 2019 when they released Relics of the Past.
Yep.
Yes,
And also, it was like literally Christmas Day when it released,
yeah.
which skews statistics a little bit.
It does. It does. And actually, that's really interesting. Yeah, because if it wasn't Christmas Day, I bet you there'd be a lot more people playing it that day.
Hmm.
Anyway, so that's really good. The 24-hour peak at the time I took this data, which was probably about an hour ago, there were 341 players the last 24
Hmm.
hours. And then concurrent players right now, there were 299. So mhm,
Very healthy for this game.
it seems incredibly healthy. And being a fan of indies, my first instinct was to compare this to some other games that I consider like classics. And by
Okay.
when I say classic, I mean like if you talk to people that play indie games, they're going to know about this game and they've probably played it.
Okay.
One of my other favorite games, Downwell.
Uh huh.
Yes, I wanted to compare it to Downwell because I'm like Downwell it seems to be very indie game fans seem to be very conscious of this game, very aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So its all-time peak 9.3 years ago was 405,
Huh.
which shocked me. And I was like, wow, Star of Providence has surpassed this. Their 24-hour peak was 28, 16 players at the time I looked at it.
Mm.
The next one I looked at was Nuclear Throne,
Mm-hmm.
a divisive game,
Yep.
as I've learned. However, I think it's clearly kind of a cult classic,
Yeah.
kind of a famous indie roguelite.
Yeah, I would agree with all that.
All-time peak 9 years ago, 1,213.
Okay, so we just slightly different by
Yes,
like wow, extremely close.
it is, and to me, this really put Star of Providence's success, what I consider to be a success, into context because like Star of Providence was already considered a kind of cult classic in that it was an underground game that
I
most
think
people that played had enjoyed it.
I think it was classified more as a hidden gem.
Okay, that's yeah. You know what? You're absolutely right. It was a hidden gem. One of the cool things though that you had in the past with Star of Providence is you had, uh, Ojiro Fumoto, the creator of Downwell, praising
Mm-hmm.
Monolith at the time on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, you had Derek Yu, the creator of Spelunky, praising Star of Providence on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really cool stuff. And now to see it kind of hit these numbers, I think
Mm-hmm.
that you're right. It's gone from hidden gem to cult classic.
Mm, I mean, time will tell if that is the case. I'm a little bit more cautious in that assessment. I would be like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to like. It's only been a month so far. I kind of wait. I think like you shouldn't wait like a year, and then you can start making those assessments to determine. Like, of course, I want the best for this game,
Mm-hmm.
but like, it's one of those things where like really only time can tell
Yes. I
how how much it will stick in like the indie game consciousness
uh
as a whole.
you're right, you're right. Let me rephrase it. Star of
Hmm.
Providence is well on its way to becoming a cult classic.
Okay, yeah,
I think you can agree
I
with
would.
that.
Yes, I can agree. I can agree with that. Yeah, but like, let's not be too hasty.
Because I mean looking at Downwell and Nuclear Throne numbers, I'm like, damn, like those are absolutely cult classics,
Hmm.
in my opinion. And so to see Star Providence a month after release hitting this number, it's awesome. It makes me super happy. The last one I compared it to was Scourgebringer.
I feel like that hasn't quite reached the same level as Nuclear Throne or Downwell.
It hasn't, but I wanted to compare it because everyone always compares Scourgebringer to Star Providence, and in fact, they think Scourgebringer inspired Star Providence. Yeah. Anyway, all-time peak was 3 months ago, 854. So
Oh, good for them at least. That's not.
yeah,
Those are not shabby numbers.
they are not. And the one thing that Scourgebringer has going for it is it's on mobile, and I don't think that'll ever happen to Star Providence, but that absolutely increases the exposure to the game.
Well, but then mobile players wouldn't be counted in those statistics, would they?
No, no, no. That's what I mean. So, like, it's actually, I don't think that number. So,
Mhm.
what I'm saying is, I don't think that 854 number accurately
Paints the
represents
full
it.
picture.
Yes, yes, yes. I think
Well,
the,
you could say the same with Star of Providence because it's on Switch now, which Steam does not record those numbers.
exactly. And that was the next thing I was going to talk about, actually, because the Switch eShop, Nintendo's not sharing those download numbers. However, on February 26th, the highest Star Prof got up on the list, to my knowledge, was that Starprov was the 13th most popular download on the Switch eShop, which is awesome.
Hmm.
It's
It's
so fitting.
visibility.
Yes, it's visibility. Of course, it's since gone down. I don't even know where it is now. But the
Hmm.
fact that it got that high, almost took out Super Smash Brothers. Um, that makes me really happy. So yeah, I do think it's on its way. It's on its way. It's I think it's been a really successful launch, at least from where I'm sitting. So
Yeah. I do feel like it could stand to have more. I feel like something that would help the long term longevity of this game,
mhm.
and I've said this in the past, and I'm going to keep saying it, is like I think that Star of Providence would benefit to having like small little updates or content updates sprinkled throughout
Yeah.
time, as opposed to just having big chunky updates but like with 5 years wait in between. I feel like having smaller updates across time gives players a reason to keep coming back, like, oh, there's new stuff,
Yeah.
oh, there's like these things. I think that would help the game along more than just very long droughts.
I think that's an interesting idea. I know
Yeah.
that the devs have talked about wanting to do alternate floors.
Yeah,
So,
but that's an idea for the second DLC, which, even by their own admission, is going to take years before it is here. And I don't mind them having a DLC planned for
mhm,
far in the future. I'm completely fine with that. What I'm saying is there should be things in between Into Oblivion and the second DLC that keep players being like, oh, this game isn't dead anymore. Like, oh, they actually are updating it. Because, like, there are a few people who did comment, like, oh, I thought this game was abandoned. Like, they weren't updating anymore. It's like, no, they were. It's just like they didn't there was no updates for just like the longest time because
mhm.
that's just how they roll.
So you're thinking like adding a few new weapons or a new enemy or a new boss? Because I was thinking like add like an alternate floor. You know?
Like, I don't want to tell the devs what those should contain. Like,
Sure.
I whatever they feel isn't something they can do in a timely manner without taking too much effort.
Hmm.
Absolutely could be just like sometimes it could just be like a big update that's like, hey, whole bunch of quality of life updates, like added like more music for these specific circumstances, added more dialogue,
Hmm.
Ace the Stormlord now has even more dialogue options now.
You can now talk to him
Even,
for hours.
I mean, who wouldn't you?
Probably.
Yeah. Like stuff like even stuff like that would give people an excuse to come back,
Hmm.
and keeps the conversation going.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Or
anyway,
just
that's
or just or just drop Crawler Kingdom. I mean,
uh, I mean, that would certainly cause a lot of interest and keep people coming back.
yes.
That's going to be up to you to evangelize.
I'll do my best. So, the last thing I wanted to do, Nick, is just share a few articles that have popped up about Star of Providence
Hmm.
and not read the articles in full, obviously. We're not an ASMR like sleep podcast, but I did want to share a quote from each of them.
An excerpt.
Yes. So there was an article on superjumpmagazine.com. They've
Hmm.
got a little series called Hidden Gems of Game Design. And Josh Beiser wrote an article about Star of Providence after the release. So Josh says, quote, one detail I really like about SOP is that no resource gets wasted. If you're at full health and get more of it, the additional health goes towards raising your max life, and full ammo equals bonus scrap that can be used to buy resources. Much of what makes the game work so well is how much care has been taken to make playing it as seamless as possible, including instant fast travel outside of combat to any room you've already visited. Unquote. I like this analysis because Josh is really he's clearly played a lot of the game, and this is something that I feel like a lot of people miss, you know? And these are the good details that show how much thought has Team D13 has put into the game. So
Hmm.
I do love that no resources get wasted.
Yeah. It's not a frustrating experience for the wrong reasons, at least.
Yeah, yeah. There
Like, people understand, like, oh, if you're frustrated because a boss fight is hard, you understand, okay, I have to practice it. But like,
yes.
it's not like, oh, the game gave me a thing but I can't use the thing, so it
Mhm.
might as well have given me nothing. There's none of that. It's like, well, it always gets turned into something useful.
Yes. There was an article on Kotaku by Ethan
Mm.
Gatch. Cool to see an article on Star of Providence there. It just said the quote that I want to pull from this, the excerpt I'll pull from this is, quote, "The boss fights are especially cool looking, and the chiptune-esque soundtrack kicks ass," unquote. A lot of people have shouted out all aspects of the game, but definitely the soundtrack.
Yeah, Garoslaw, you like, I don't know how you work your magic, but like everyone loves it.
We need to have another episode where we just talk about the music. There are so many people that would want to come on this podcast and talk about the music.
Oh yeah.
Then there was an article on The Verge, which was really cool to see. This was by Jay Peters. And the excerpt I grabbed says, quote, "There's a constant sense of forward momentum that I think more games should emulate," unquote. So, yeah. My favorite discovery I made is, so a long time ago, I listened to a podcast called The Besties, which is 4 friends. They all used to work at Polygon, the website, and write about games together. And they made a podcast and they talk about games they like. And they often talked about Binding of Isaac. Like Russ Frushtick and Chris Plant were both big fans of it, and they would talk about it all the time. So finally, one time I messaged, I think, Chris Plant on Twitter. And
a while ago then.
Oh yeah, this was a long time ago. And I said, "Hey, I think I thanked him for recommending Citizen Sleeper or something." And I said, "Hey, you guys talk about Binding of Isaac all the time." Oh, you know what? No, it was Russ Frushtick. I messaged Russ on Twitter and I was like, "Hey, you talk about Binding of Isaac. I just wanted to let you know there's a game that the devs were greatly inspired by Binding of Isaac. It's called Star of Providence. It was Monolith at the time.
Yeah.
You need to check this out. I think you would like it." And he was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take a look." I don't know if he ever did. And I don't blame him for that. There's a lot of games out there.
Yep.
But recently, on one of the recent Besties episodes called Monster Hunter Wilds is Surprisingly Great in Single Player, they finally gave a shout out to Star of Providence. And it was actually Griffin McElroy. He gave like a really, really good short explanation of the game, I thought. But the quotes that I really love from him are he said, "I've been playing a lot of Star of Providence. It is fast, and it feels fucking great to play." And he said, "It just rules. It just rules." And I was like, yes, that's awesome to get a Griffin McElroy plug. For those who don't know Griffin McElroy, very famous podcaster. So I'm hoping he pulls a few more players over to the game.
I hope.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I think we're going to continue to see people talking about the game. And you know what? If we don't, we're going to keep talking about the game.
People I think are taking that for granted at this point. We're just going to keep yapping about this every 2 weeks.
Yeah, we are.
Whether they're here to listen to us or not.
Hey, I'm listening to you, and I think you're listening to me.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, the hypothetical audience that listens to these episodes.
Yes. So the last thing I want to mention is I created a Star Providence feed on Blue Sky, right? The main reason being I wanted to be able to track when people were posting about Star Providence. This is
monitor every time any of you say anything. He's there watching me like, yes,
yes,
more.
I will like your posts. If you post hashtag Star Providence, actually, you don't even have to do a hashtag. If you type the phrase Star Providence or Star Prov into Blue Sky, it's going to appear in the feed and I will like it. But I wanted to be able to see people talking about
what the conversation was around the game.
Exactly. So since February 20th, there have been 531 posts on Blue Sky. So the Star Prov feed's been catching like an average of like 17 posts per day. But what's awesome is the majority of these posts are really positive. And now we're starting to see a lot of fan art. We're seeing content creators playing the game and posting clips. And there's definitely a mix of people struggling as well. You know, people saying, "Oh, this game's hard." But you know, these conversations have been lovely to track, and it's been really fun to interact with people on Blue Sky about the game. So I highly encourage any Blue Sky users, any listeners out there, go check that feed out. There's a lot of people posting cool stuff.
Feed the feed for Malachi.
Feed the feed. Yes. Thanks so much for listening to our Star Providence Fancast. Big thanks as always to Garoslaw and AlexMdle for allowing us to use their music and sound effects.
You can find all of the music for Star of Providence over at Garoslaw's Bandcamp. The Volume 1, which is all of the music from After the End, Volume 2, which includes Relics of the Past and Into Oblivion, and the 5th anniversary soundtrack as well. So be sure to check all of those out.
Our intro music was created by none other than Garoslaw. Thank you so much, Garoslaw.
Thank you, Garoslaw. It's really pretty. It's very good. Thank you so much.
If you have any comments or suggestions for the show, you can reach out to us on our Discord server. We'll post the link in the show notes.
And there you will find fellow palates to talk with and discuss the show. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us next time.
This is what you came for, isn't it?
So be it.